I always had a desire to inflict pain on others. This unsettling confession reveals a mind twisted by dark desires, a soul that found pleasure in the suffering of others. It wasn't just a fleeting thought or a passing whim, it was a deep-seated craving that consumed him. And to have others inflict pain on me. This duality of inflicting and receiving pain created a vicious cycle, a never-ending loop of torment and agony. It was as if he thrived on the very essence of pain, both giving and receiving it in equal measure. These chilling words, uttered by Albert Fish himself, offer a glimpse into the abyss of his psyche. Fish, a man whose very name would become synonymous with horror, was not just a criminal, he was a manifestation of pure evil. His mind was a labyrinth of dark fantasies and grotesque desires. Fish, born in 1870, wasn't just a name. It was a harbinger of the darkness he would unleash upon the world. From a young age, he exhibited signs of abnormal behavior, a precursor to the monstrous acts he would later commit. His childhood was marred by neglect and abuse, factors that likely contributed to his twisted psyche. His crimes, monstrous and inhumane, would forever etch his name in the annals of criminal history. Fish's acts were not just crimes, they were atrocities that shocked and horrified the nation. Each crime scene was a testament to his depravity, a chilling reminder of the evil that lurked within him. Fish became a terrifying figure, a bogeyman whispered about in hushed tones, a stark reminder of the evil that lurks beneath the surface of humanity. Parents would warn their children about him, using his name to instill fear and obedience. He was the embodiment of nightmares, a real-life monster that haunted the collective consciousness. His story is not for the faint of heart. It is a harrowing tale of unimaginable cruelty and sadism, a journey into the darkest recesses of the human mind. The details of his crimes are so disturbing that they defy comprehension, leaving an indelible mark on all who hear them. It's a descent into the darkest corners of the human soul, a chilling exploration of a mind consumed by sadism and depravity. Fish's actions were not just the result of a troubled mind. They were the manifestations of a soul steeped in evil. His story forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth about the capacity for darkness within us all. But it's a story that needs to be told, a cautionary tale that continues to resonate long after his demise. By understanding the depths of his depravity, we can better recognize the signs of such darkness in others, and perhaps prevent future horrors. Albert Fish's legacy is a grim reminder of the evil that can fester within the human soul and the importance of vigilance in the face of such malevolence. Albert Fish's life was steeped in tragedy and neglect from the outset. Born into a family riddled with mental illness and institutionalization, his childhood was a breeding ground for the darkness that would later consume him. Orphanages became his surrogate homes, cold and unforgiving places where he experienced both physical and emotional abuse. It was within these desolate walls that the seeds of his sadistic tendencies were sown. He found a perverse pleasure in pain, both in inflicting it and enduring it. This early exposure to suffering warped his perception of the world, twisting his desires and setting him on a path that would lead to unimaginable horrors. As Fish grew older, his dark impulses manifested in increasingly disturbing ways. He preyed on the vulnerable, targeting those who were least able to defend themselves, innocent children. His methods were insidious, a chilling combination of cunning and cruelty. He would often lure children away with promises of treats and toys, using their innocence and trust to ensnare them in his web of horror. Parents, unaware of the monster lurking in their midst, would unwittingly allow their children to wander into his grasp. The streets became his hunting ground, each shadowy corner a potential stage for his gruesome acts. Fish's reign of terror culminated in the horrific murder of 10-year-old Grace Budd in 1928. Grace was a bright, cheerful girl, full of life and dreams, whose disappearance sent shockwaves through her community. Her family, desperate for answers, could never have imagined the horrors that awaited them. This case, shrouded in mystery and marked by its sheer brutality, would become synonymous with his name, the Werewolf of Wisteria. The media frenzy that followed painted Fish as a monster, a creature of nightmares who preyed on the innocent. It was a crime that shocked even the most hardened investigators, a gruesome tableau of violence and depravity. The scene they encountered was beyond anything they had ever seen, a macabre display that left an indelible mark on their minds. The details, too horrific to recount in full, painted a chilling portrait of Fish's descent into utter madness. His actions were not just those of a killer, but of a deeply disturbed individual whose mind was a labyrinth of dark fantasies and perverse desires. The hunt for Grace's killer became a national obsession, a desperate search for answers in the face of unspeakable evil. Newspapers across the country followed every lead, every clue, hoping to bring some semblance of justice to the Budd family. But Fish, a master manipulator, managed to evade capture for 6 long years, leaving a trail of fear and uncertainty in his wake. His ability to blend into society, to appear as just another face in the crowd, made him all the more terrifying. The shadow he cast over Wisteria Lane would linger for years to come, a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind the most unassuming facades. The net finally closed in on Albert Fish in 1934. A letter he had sent to Grace Budd's family detailing his horrific acts proved to be his undoing. The letter, filled with chilling confessions and boasts of his crimes, sent shockwaves through the nation. It provided a window into the mind of a monster, a glimpse into the depths of his depravity. With this crucial piece of evidence, authorities were finally able to track Fish down and arrest him. The nation breathed a collective sigh of relief, but the sense of unease lingered. Section 6. The Confession, a Descent into Madness. During his trial, Fish's confession sent chills down the spines of even the most seasoned legal professionals. He spoke of his crimes with a chilling detachment, his words devoid of remorse or empathy. He described his cannibalistic urges, his belief that consuming the flesh of his victims brought him a perverse form of spiritual enlightenment. The courtroom became a theater of the macabre, a stage for Fish's twisted worldview. His insanity defense, despite the overwhelming evidence of his mental instability, was ultimately unsuccessful. The jury, horrified by the sheer depravity of his crimes, found him sane and guilty. Section 7. The electric chair awaits. Albert Fish was sentenced to death. His execution, carried out in 1936, was witnessed by a nation both horrified and captivated by his case. As the current surged through his body, ending his reign of terror, a sense of closure washed over the families of his victims. But the scars he left on their lives and on the national psyche would never truly heal. Fish's case served as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of innocence and the monsters that lurk in the shadows, waiting to prey on the unsuspecting. Section 8. A Legacy of Fear, Fish's Impact on a Nation. The case of Albert Fish, the Werewolf of Wisteria, had a profound impact on society. His heinous acts of violence and depravity sent shockwaves through the nation, leaving an indelible mark on the collective consciousness. The fear and horror that gripped the public were palpable, as people struggled to comprehend the depths of his cruelty. It forced law enforcement agencies to rethink their approach to criminal profiling, leading to the development of new techniques for identifying and apprehending violent offenders. The case highlighted the need for better coordination and communication among different law enforcement agencies, paving the way for more sophisticated investigative methods. Detectives and criminologists began to study patterns of behavior more closely, seeking to understand the minds of such criminals to prevent future atrocities. Moreover, it sparked a nationwide conversation about child safety, leading to stricter laws and increased awareness about the importance of protecting children from predators. Communities came together to demand action, resulting in the implementation of new policies and programs aimed at safeguarding the most vulnerable members of society. Schools and organizations started to educate children and parents about the dangers that lurked, emphasizing the importance of vigilance and precaution. Fish's legacy, though steeped in darkness, ultimately served as a catalyst for positive change. The public outcry and demand for justice led to significant reforms in the legal system, ensuring that such heinous crimes would be met with swift and severe consequences. The case also brought attention to the psychological aspects of criminal behavior, prompting further research and advancements in the field of forensic psychology. His crimes, as horrific as they were, forced society to confront its vulnerabilities and take steps to protect its most innocent members. The memory of his victims became a powerful reminder of the need for constant vigilance and the importance of community solidarity. In the end, the darkness of Albert Fish's actions was overshadowed by the light of the changes they inspired, ensuring a safer future for generations to come. Section 9. Echoes in the Darkness. Even today, decades after his death, the name Albert Fish continues to evoke fear and revulsion. His story serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside within the human heart, and the importance of vigilance in a world where monsters can lurk in the most unexpected places. Though justice was ultimately served, the echoes of his crimes continue to resonate, a haunting reminder of the fragility of innocence and the importance of confronting the shadows that threaten to consume us all.